The old man fed human bones into a flour mill, reducing them to powder in no time. Taking advantage of the absence of witnesses, he poured an entire bag of bones into the grinder, watching the evidence turn to dust. With the remnants of the crime obliterated, he finally felt a sense of relief. But would the truth truly remain hidden? Jim, a retired teacher, once enjoyed a happy life with his wife. However, his son insisted on studying in the United States and pressured his parents to raise the tuition fees. Jim sold all his assets but only managed to gather 1 million yuan. Instead of expressing gratitude, his son demanded an additional 1.5 million. When Jim couldn't provide it, the son dismissed him as useless. Not wanting to be looked down upon, Jim mortgaged his house and took out a high-interest loan, successfully sending his son to America. Jack lived up to expectations, achieving great success in the US. He married, had children, and purchased a house. Yet for 6 consecutive years, Jack failed to visit his parents. Jim initially believed that Jack's earnings would help repay the debts, but every time his parents mustered the courage to ask for assistance, Jack would impatiently hang up the call. As a result, the crushing weight of the debt fell entirely on Jim. The gang who had lent them money frequently visited to collect payments, subjecting Jim and his wife to humiliation. One night, Negan, the debt collector, came knocking again, this time with a woman. Negan instructed the woman to touch Jim's toes, a gesture of respect for elders in Indian culture. Yet, Jim was so frightened he didn't dare utter a word. Before Negan could say anything, Jim hurried inside to retrieve that month's interest payment. Seeing the money wasn't sufficient, Negan didn't argue but instead led the woman into Jim's bedroom. A minute later, the two emerged disheveled. Seeing the mess left behind, Jim and his wife understood the act was both a warning and an insult. A few days later, after withdrawing money from the bank, Jim was once again targeted by Negan, who snatched the cash. When Negan's car wouldn't start upon leaving, he ordered Jim to push it. Helpless, Jim complied without resistance. Despite his hardships, Jim's kindness remained unshaken. As a retired teacher, he devoted himself to tutoring underprivileged children for free and even saved from his modest living expenses to buy them cakes to celebrate their birthdays. However, it was these children who inadvertently led Jim to his breaking point. One day, Negan arrived with a man to inspect Jim's house, intending to sell it to repay the loans. Jim pleaded desperately for more time, but at that moment, a young girl who had just completed her homework handed it to Jim for review. Negan's gaze immediately shifted to the little girl, and Jim could instantly discern the vile intentions forming in Negan's mind. This movie is called To Live and Die in the Twilight. If you're interested, you can watch the original film.